Um, we all think that conflict is a bad thing, and I hear this a lot when I work with people, and I used to believe this too, that conflict is destructive. Conflict is going to hurt relationships, but that will only happen if we use this arrogant style, or if we also don't say anything, because not saying anything doesn't outwardly cause destruction, but it still destructs, or it still takes away from the relationship, right? So how do we assertively communicate? For when I work with clients, I use a longer framework that goes into detail of how or what to say in some of these conversations. But I have some tips I want to share that will still be useful for you to have some of these conversations. So the first tip is to really believe in your need to communicate. If you had an intense emotion to something somebody else did, you're well within your rights to communicate about it, right? Most of us first need to believe that I'm entitled to communicate here and voice my opinion. If we don't believe that, we tend to over justify why we are communicating, or why we even are bringing this up, and we don't need to do that. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is, so you believe in your need, but you are very objective. You bring in examples of this situation. You are logical, and you talk about factual things that happen, right? So you stick to the facts. The third tip is not to assume other people's intentions, because we really don't know. Even if it's someone really close to us, we don't know what their intentions are, or what's going on in their heads. So at a work situation, we definitely have no clue, because we don't know these people generally as intimately as we know our family members, or other loved ones, right? So don't assume their intentions, but stay with their actions, like what they did, what they said, and then your reaction. So how did that make you feel? How did that impact my work? So things like that. So stay within those boundaries.